you've listened to this podcast before, or if you've read some of my posts on LinkedIn, then you know that my story is inspired by what happened to me on Kilimanjaro. As I'm recording this, I'm looking out my window here in Western Tennessee, and it doesn't look like home. It reminds me of the summit of Kilimanjaro. Snow and ice as far as I can see, bitterly cold, and a stillness that feels almost heavy. The kind of quiet that settles in when the world is forced to stop moving. Roads are shut down, schools are closed, everything is paused. And I realized something important. Not everyone listening is in a winter storm right now, but everyone listening has experienced moments when life shuts down without asking permission. Perhaps for you it was a diagnosis or a job loss, a relationship fracture, a season where momentum disappears overnight. That's what this episode is about. Not storms themselves, but what happens inside us when control is taken away. This is Summit After the Storm podcast, and I'm Bart Wilbanks. If you're new here, this podcast explores leadership, faith, and life when pressure removes the illusion of control. If this resonates, follow us on Spotify because it helps this message reach others that are walking through their own shutdown seasons. We all like to believe we're in control. Our calendars, our routines, our momentum, but all it takes is one storm, literal or metaphorical, to remind us how thin that illusion really is. When systems pause and progress stalls, we feel uncomfortable, not because nothing is happening, but because we can't make anything happen. Stillness confronts us with a hard truth. We don't lead best when we're busy. We lead best when we're honest. Forced stillness doesn't ask permission. It interrupts ambition. It slows productivity. It exposes what we've been using motion to avoid. Some people respond by grasping for control. Others respond by numbing the quiet. But there's another option: to listen. Because stillness has a voice, and it usually speaks to the things that we've been outrunning. On Kilimanjaro, there was a point where forward progress wasn't possible, not because of lack of effort, not because of poor planning, but because the mountain said, "Not now." Oxygen levels were low, visibility was gone, and no amount of willpower could change the conditions. The hardest part wasn't the climb, it was recognizing the limits, accepting that effort no longer set the pace, and that awareness, not force, was the responsible response. That kind of stillness does something. It humbles you, it sharpens your attention, and it teaches restraint, not as weakness, but as wisdom. Stillness isn't failure. It's clarity without distraction. When movement stops, patterns surface. What you trust, what you fear, what you cling to. Stillness reveals whether your identity is rooted in productivity or purpose. Whether your confidence comes from results or from something deeper. Leaders who only know how to lead in motion struggle here. Leaders who understand restraint grow here. Not because answers appear, but because the truth does. So here's the question this storm invites. What are you being forced to sit with right now? What would happen if instead of fighting the pause, you allowed it to teach you? Because some seasons aren't about progress. They're about alignment. And sometimes the most important leadership work happens when nothing is moving at all. If this reflection resonated, I share conversations like this every week on Summit After the Storm. Follow the podcast on Spotify and go to summitafterstorm.com where you can find more details about my book when that's coming out. You can connect with me on all social media platforms, and I would love to get to know you better. And if everything feels shut down right now, remember this: stillness doesn't mean the story is over. Sometimes it's where the next chapter quietly begins. Thank you for listening. I will talk with you soon, and until next time, keep climbing. Poly poly.